What's going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Bitcoin absolutely skyrocketing. Ethereum 20% plus on news that the ETF has now increased from 25% to possibly 75% approval. Even some people saying it could happen as soon as this week. Also, we have some breaking news that literally just came out moments ago. We have a lot to go over today. I want to keep today's video nice and short and sweet, so if you do appreciate these shorter videos, make sure to slap a like, get subscribed, because YouTube doesn't really like these shorter videos. But at the same time, there is a lot of bullish things happening right now. I do want to exercise some caution. In fact, especially if you're new to cryptocurrency, I have a warning today, and this is only because I've been in this space for 8 years and I see not the same people, but I see the same mistake being made over and over again, specifically by some, newer people in the space. So I just want to kind of put things into perspective today to let you know exactly what I'm talking about, because I don't want you to fall victim and, to the same trap that I've seen happen over and over and over again to all these people. So I do want to talk about that today. Now, really quick, if we have a look at what's going on in the chart, you will notice that this is basically exactly the area that we had anticipated, right? We actually fell out of right here. So we had this falling wedge pattern. We did break out of it, right? So I guess right now what we can be looking at is ultimately, sort of an upward sloping trend here. But again, we're basically still just trapped between the 71,000 range and the 61,000 range. And lo and behold, you can see that is exactly why we are starting to pull down again at these levels. So I am going to talk about the TA. I do want to get into that. But before I do, and before I get into the big warning and the breaking news, I did just want to mention, guys, that we only have 7 spots left on MetaSignal's NFT. Now, the reason that this is, well, it's obviously going to increase in price, but the reason that you've been seeing a lot of people buying it lately is because the Discord has been going absolutely crazy. If you look at these signals, here's some screenshots. So we had Sui, potential long, boom, hit all 3 of our take profits right here. We also had Phantom, right, sitting here just around the second, hasn't quite got up to the third yet. That was success. This is just a few of them, guys. We hit all of them on Ruin, and even though we did have a pullback on Sand, look at this, it blasted through our third, and it's still holding well above our second profit. So, guys, if you are interested in MetaSignals and you don't want to buy the NFT, which I highly suggest because you will get lifetime access to all upgrades, you can also use basically your credit card if you want. And I just want to let you guys know, if you enter the code ZOMBIE on checkout, ZOMBIE, and you apply, you can see right here, it does get you 20% off, okay? So just remember that. Also, we have an insane campaign going on right now for Blowfin, guys. If you use the link below and you trade, you can get, based on your trading volume, you can literally win AirPods, you can win a Nintendo Switch, you can win an iPhone, a MacBook Pro, an Apple Vision Pro, and yes, guys, they are also giving away a Rolex. I am not kidding. So if you want to get involved in that, check below in the links in the description. Now, before we get into it, guys, of course, you know what today is. You know what today is, how fast today comes again, but it is Bitcoin Pizza Day. That is right. Laszlo spent 10,000 Bitcoin on 2 pieces of pizza. We can actually see right here, this is what the pizza looked like. So at about $70,000 Bitcoin price, that's about $350 million per pie, making each slice about $43 million. So always a friendly reminder of, be careful with Bitcoin, because obviously the price tends to increase. And actually, we're going to tie into this sort of Bitcoin pizza idea at the end of this video. That actually goes in a bit to the warning that I have to say. But what I want to start off with is the fact that obviously the SEC has said to exchanges that it's leaning towards approving Ethereum spot ETFs. As I said, it has increased from a 25% chance to a 75% chance. Also, they've been reaching out, having, all these different ETF possible amendments that they've been making, right? They've been kind of changing it so that they can, basically it looks like they're trying to approve it, right? And we know at the end of the day, when BlackRock says they want something, they usually end up getting it, right? Which is kind of what we said when BlackRock was petitioning for the SEC to approve the ETF, and they had been literally denying, rejecting ETFs all the way back since 2013 when we had Gemini trying to, go for the first ETF, and we said as soon as BlackRock says that they were going to want one, they were going to get one. And why? Well, let's just be honest, the SEC is basically Larry Fink's bitch. Let's just be honest, that's just what it is. But here is the thing. So after we have Gensler coming out, we now have a sudden move in a statement released just today. This isn't even the breaking news, by the way. We have Gensler publicly voicing his opposition to the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, or the FIT21 Act. Now, what is this? Well, it basically is legislation aimed at promoting the development of new financial instruments and technologies while establishing a framework for their regulation and oversight. So, wait, what's going on? So all of a sudden, Gensler and friends are saying, hey, maybe we will approve an ETF, but at the same time, they're shooting down this Innovation Act to actually make regulation around cryptocurrency. Again, very confusing from these guys. Well, let's see what he had to say specifically in the quote. He says, financial innovation and technology for the 21st Century Act would create new regulatory gaps and undermine decades of precedent regarding the oversight of investment contracts, putting investors and capital markets at immeasurable risk. But really, why they don't like it is because it takes power away from them, right? You could see, as he goes on to say, the bill allows issuers of crypto investment contracts to self-certify that their products are a decentralized system and then be deemed a special class of digital commodities and thus not subject to the SEC oversight. So really, it just comes down to a matter of power for them. They don't care about protecting the investor. Do you think Gary cares about that? No, that's why they love the vagueness, right? They can fine all these guys, right? Instead of, basically enforcement, or regulation through enforcement is what they're trying to do. It's really shady, and it's definitely something that you've seen a lot of these judges pushing back, and I'm actually glad that these bigger guys like Coinbase are taking them to court, and they're losing in court, because at least once we have that verdict, you can't go back to court for the same reason again, right? And every time they get another L, it is just another win, another W for crypto. But here is the kicker, my friends. So, statement of administration policy. This came out today. So in response to Gary, the White House will not issue a veto threat against FIT for the 21st Century Act. The crypto market structure overhaul bill being voted on today flags concerns, but no veto threat. So this is essentially a major victory, a major win for crypto. And like Cynthia Lummis points out, there is a bipartisan majority in both chambers of Congress in favor of crypto. The future is very bright. And let me tell you guys, the landscape is changing. Now, it did at first seem like it was Republicans pro-crypto, Democrats anti-crypto. However, that could all be about to change. And I want to turn it over to a very short segment, an interview that we had over on CNBC with Mike Novogratz, and he was speaking with Andrew Ross-Sarkin. And this is why, especially with this upcoming election year, it is going to be probably one of the wildest and craziest years for crypto, and most likely it's going to be quite bullish.
Listen, ETH is a lot higher in the last 24 hours on speculation that the ETF is coming. Step back a little bit. What seems to have happened is, Donald Trump 2 weeks ago got on stage and said, "I'm the crypto president." And it was on the same day that Joe Biden had threatened to veto a relatively obscure piece of legislation that the SEC had put through, a rule on accounting, saying that crypto assets in custody needed to be held on balance sheet. And that kind of set off a firestorm where it almost became a purity test, like Republican, good for crypto, Democrat, bad for crypto. And I think the Democratic regime woke up and saying, this is crazy, right? There are more crypto owners in America than there are dog owners, right? We have 85 million people that own crypto, and a lot of them are single issue voters. And the Democrats looked like they were the party against dogs. And so you've seen a pretty dramatic change. First of all, you had 9 senators cross the aisle and 21 congressmen on the SAB 21. And so that's passed, the repeal of that, and it'll go to Biden's desk. We'll see if he vetoes it or not. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, what seems to be a complete about face with the SEC on the ETH ETF. And, listen, I don't have any inside info other than talking to people in the markets, and we'll see. We do have an ETF in registrations. I got to be a little bit careful. But assuming, the market is right, and the market's usually pretty smart, it feels like someone at the Biden White House made a call and said, guys, we can't be the party against crypto anymore. And I think that's a seismic shift, because if those things actually happen, prices are going to be much higher than here.
So you're speculating that a phone call was made from the White House to Gary Gensler's office, and Gary Gensler, who has, for the most part, as you know, been relatively opposed to these instruments. In fact, he was opposed to the Bitcoin ETF until a court told him otherwise. You think he's going to do it, quote unquote, voluntarily or maybe pseudo-voluntarily if, in fact, the president's telling him otherwise?
I am sensing a widespread shift amongst Democrats that don't want to let crypto be a big election issue. Right? The crypto super PACs have raised over $150 million, and they have targeted Sherrod Brown and John Tester, elections that matter dearly to Democrats in swing states, in vulnerable Senate seats. Crypto should be bipartisan. And quite frankly, for our industry to do well, it needs to be bipartisan. And it has been really Elizabeth Warren and a small group of people that has kind of held the Democrats hostage on this. And what the Senate broadly said, Chuck Schumer, being the Senate leader who voted to overturn against Elizabeth, was enough. Like, this is becoming dumb. I've had a real view that this needs to be bipartisan. So I have been meeting with Democrats and Republicans equally, trying to both educate. On the Democratic side, I've been trying to talk sense. I was like, guys, this could be the biggest own goal of the last 6 years. There is no reason to make crypto, which is a technology, a political issue. And I think hopefully that message is starting to resonate.
All right, guys, so this is what I wanted to talk about today. Obviously, massive candle on Ethereum right here. You can see Ethereum pumped, from bottom to top, actually was up about 27% at one point, only around maybe 20 currently at the time of making this video. However, here's the interesting thing, right? If we zoom out right here and we have a look at Ethereum, you could see that even though Ethereum has had a massive rally, clearly a lot of excitement around this ETF, we are still not even back at the all-time highs. Ethereum has actually yet to break its all-time high of roughly around $4,867, right? We were about a 150-esque 200 short of around $5,000 for Ethereum. So is that the point I'm trying to make? No, that's not the point I'm trying to make. But what has happened, as we can see here, for example, if we come over to the Ethereum versus Bitcoin chart, you could see that Ethereum actually reached its highest peak back in 2017, June of 2017. So just kind of going back here and curious, what was the price of Ethereum back in June of 2017? Well, the price of Ethereum in June of 2017 was about $400. So what is the point that I'm trying to make? The point that I'm trying to make is when a lot of people, I get a lot of comments, right, about how I'm stupid for holding Bitcoin long term and how I have way too much Bitcoin in my portfolio. And there's all these other altcoins that are going to make all these other major gains. Yes, they can, but they don't make those gains long term. So unless you are very smart, and even Ethereum, the number 2 crypto, and again, I'm not ragging on Ethereum. I'm just saying that if you are looking to hold a long-term portfolio, set it and forget it, and you can't be here trading every single day, there is literally no coin that has ever outpaced Bitcoin. And I know what you're saying. Wait, what about BNB? Wait, what about Dogecoin? Remember when Dogecoin had that massive pump? Well, let's pull some of those up right here. This is Dogecoin, and this is what people are referring to. Yeah, between December 2020 and May 21st, yes, then it absolutely outpaced Bitcoin. Keep in mind, this is not the USD chart. This is the Doge/BTC chart. So, you can have, Doge/USD, which, it's obviously looking probably great. But if you go to Bitcoin, you can see, yes, during this one period, it would have been better to be in Bitcoin. But currently right now, from top to bottom, Dogecoin is down about 82% in comparison to Bitcoin. Okay, let's go over here to Binance Coin. Binance Coin was one of the best performing coins of the last cycle. If we go from top to bottom, where we are currently right now, down about 57% compared to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin outpaced this, right? We also go over here, let's just say Solana, right? Solana pretty close, right? But even compared to its high back here in September of 2021, Solana is still down about 43% compared to its Bitcoin comparative. So this is just showing you that really only in the short term, only in these alt seasons do you get these opportunities to rotate into these altcoins. But I try to warn everyone, even some of the cream of the crop, the top tier, Ethereum, the number 2 altcoin, or the number 1 altcoin, right? Technically, the number 1 altcoin still has yet to get back to where it was for Bitcoin. In fact, if I just get rid of this right here, and again, I'm not saying don't buy Ethereum, it could outperform Bitcoin potentially in this cycle. or, you know, over the next few months or maybe the next year. But long term, there is no altcoin that will ultimately outpace Bitcoin. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. If you can find one, show me. That's been around for at least more than one cycle, not just this cycle. Something that's been around for 2 cycles. Show me an altcoin that's been around for 2 cycles and has outperformed Bitcoin currently with today's Bitcoin price. I'd love to see it. Drop it in the comments below. Maybe I'm missing something. But, you know, again, right here, you know, you could see that from top to bottom, we had basically the highest that we ever had was 1 ETH was worth 0.15 BTC. Currently, it's worth about 0.05 BTC. So, you know, you could still see this is down about, you know, 65%. So, you know, guys, ultimately, this is why I stress, you know, I'm wearing the Bitcoin shirt, I'm wearing the Bitcoin hat. I wear this every day because people, they get bored with Bitcoin. It's dinosaur tech, it's slow. I've heard all the excuses. It doesn't matter if the ETFs are going to open up to Ethereum or not. Okay, this chart that we've looked at right here, we didn't have an ETF through all this period. We only had an ETF just recently, right? This entire period right here, this had no ETF, and you could see that the demand remained for Bitcoin. So it's still going to maintain, you know, Bitcoin, like I said, Bitcoin is digital gold. Everything else is sort of just a stock, I guess, or whatever. And I get it. Ethereum is the granddaddy of the smart contracts platforms. And I agree. It is going to be the one that probably gets the most use case. It has the largest adoption network. But at the same time, ask yourself, what do you really use Ethereum for, right? This is just me personally, I personally mostly just use Ethereum for stablecoin transfers. And to be honest with you, when it comes to Ethereum for transferring stable coins, it's actually way easier to use something like Binance or use something like Tron. Tron is amazing for sending USDT, literally seconds on the other side. So again, not trying to rag on Ethereum, not trying to rag on any altcoins. I believe there are altcoins right now in this cycle, just remember, I'm saying in this cycle, that are going to do absolutely massive, but long term, they are not going to outpace Bitcoin. No coins have outpaced Bitcoin. This is just a fact. This is not my opinion. So make sure that you keep a larger portion of Bitcoin if you're looking to hold long term, or if you want to play the market swings, fine, but just know when to get out, because there are a lot of people that have stayed in these altcoins. They've held them for multiple cycles and they end up down. You know, yeah, they're up on their dollar value. Okay, great. The altcoin went back up, but compared to the Bitcoin value, it is not as high as it would have been. And if Bitcoin's value is not as high, that means that Bitcoin is higher in dollar value, which means that it has not even just a relation with Bitcoin. You'd actually have more dollars. So it's not even just a Bitcoin thing. You literally would have actually physically more dollar value just by holding Bitcoin as well. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of leave that with you guys today. Had to kind of rant on that. I'm not saying don't hop into Ethereum. I'm not saying don't buy these altcoins. I'm in altcoins right now. But remember, my altcoin portfolio is very low compared to my Bitcoin portfolio. And that's because I just don't care to worry about trading all the time, because I know my Bitcoin is going to continue to grow. I know that Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million in our lifetime. I'm not worried about that. But speculating on some of the smaller coins, or even if you want to hold some Ethereum, that's fine. But someone who would, you know, let's say hypothetically refuses to hold Bitcoin and only wants to hold Ethereum, well, I mean, maybe this time could be different. Possibly. I could be wrong, but history shows us that long-term holding of any altcoins never outpace Bitcoin. So ultimately, guys, that's it for me today. If you do want to learn how to trade, check out the tutorials popping up right now. Check out that MetaSignals, guys. Probably by the next time I make a video, they're all going to be out. So I would definitely get that. Use the code ZOMBIE if you want literally 20% off for life. And if check out those Blowfin those Blowfin things, deals below if you guys want to get like a Rolex and all that other stuff. I don't know, pretty crazy deal. So until next time, guys, stay crypto, and of course, peace out.